Gross.
Great way to start a live stream, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. How are you doing, Gabe?
I'm doing all right. I got Jacob Peterson here with me, formerly the Preppers Bunkers Outdoors, until you decided you didn't want to go with that name anymore. And then
it's now Jacob B. Peterson.
Yeah, and then of course
the email and everything like that, though, and the handle is still the Preppers Bunker Outdoors. So if you type in the Preppers Bunker Outdoors, it'll still come up.
Okay.
Or it should.
Yeah. Hello from Egypt. Huh. Rafi.
Wow. Basilius.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Rafi, make sure to come out to Blade Show Atlanta.
Yeah, I won't be making it to Blade Show Atlanta myself, but
it's a bit of a stretch for you, huh?
Yeah, well, it's more than double the drive as it was down to Texas, and so.
See, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I think I'm about 6 hours to Atlanta, and I think I'm 13 plus down to. No, I'm 12 to DFW. I'm further to my family, but still.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a dang drive, man.
Oh, it is. It was about a 7-hour drive for me down to Dallas, but it's like a 16 or 17-hour drive down to Atlanta, which.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, with this live stream, I guess we're going to be discussing, debriefing on Blade Show, right? And what do you think about it? What caught your attention type of thing? What makers? Who did you like meeting there? And was there anybody you tried to avoid, I guess?
Yeah.
I felt like I kind of got along with everybody, so.
Yeah, Rafi here says it's a $2,000 ticket to Atlanta from Egypt. That sounds about right. I think Blade Show Atlanta is probably the one show with the most international guests. It's traditionally the largest Blade show. And I will say you have to really, really, really like knives to make that trip across the world. But it's if you have the money and if you have the sickness like we do, it's an experience. So
it's kind of an addiction for sure. It's kind
of yeah, and a lot of people launch brand new stuff at Blade Show. It really is a platform for a lot of makers and brands to launch something new. One thing that wasn't entirely new for me, Julio Diaz had his Calcarda there, which I had never heard of. So that is leather micarta. And it was kind of expensive, but I bought all that he had, and I wish that he had more. Now, if you're not familiar, Exodus Knife and Tools, my knife brand, and we're going to see how the machines react on the leather micarta. And it might be totally a bust for me, but I am hugely excited about it. Excuse me.
It's worth a try for sure. Speaking of a Blade Show, one company I didn't see there, I was kind of surprised. I didn't see Essie down there. I was kind of looking around for Essie, and I didn't see him there. So, or I didn't see like Condor or anything like that too. So,
Texas has always been a little smaller, and I don't think as much of the industry has jumped on board. Now, I went to Texas Blade Show's first ever Blade Show as Texas Blade Show. However, I got food poisoning while there and was so insanely sick that I can't remember if Condor and Essie were there or not, but I think that they were not. I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, hopefully, in the future they do come down to Texas. I know I heard some people saying that Blade Show Texas was going to try to expand for like the future years and stuff, but
I hope so, because my biggest complaint about Blade Show Texas right now is I think Dallas-Fort Worth, specifically Fort Worth, is an absolutely terrible place to host Blade Show.
Yeah. I I will agree with that. It's a weird town to try to navigate for sure.
And it's a bad venue. Their bathrooms, each bathroom has like between 4 to 8 or 9 pissers and one toilet. And let me tell you, when I had food poisoning, I went to the bathroom and there's a line of people waiting at the toilet because who has 9 pissers to one toilet in a giant building like this? But so I have to end up vomiting violently into the sink. So I just have this stream of Pepto-Bismol flavored fluid coming out of my mouth into the sink, and people are like, dude, are you okay? No, actually, uh, just using my own life as, kind of a standard for what is or is not okay. I would say projectile vomiting is certainly on my list of
I don't
not
know. It would have
okay.
been funny if you were just like, "Bah! Never been better. Look
Yeah,
forward. It's great pastime."
yeah, yeah. I was about to pass out. It was a bad deal. And then this year, I got sick on my way back from Blade Show, and I'm just kind of scratching my way out of that. But I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with.
Texas.
I think
Something
I
in
think
the
if
air.
I go to Texas Blade Show a third time and get insanely sick, I think I'll never go back for that reason alone. Oh, but we were talking about Fort Worth, the convention center. So there's the bathrooms. Then all of the parking is paid parking, and they are absolute Nazis about it.
Oh yeah, they are. And there was the first day I went. It was like $20 just to park, and then yeah, and
Not
then
only is it $20 to park, but the Dallas Convention Center, it's all free.
huh?
And they
That's
have like tons of parking. It's all free. And then for awards for makers, they send you off to a different hotel to do
hmm,
the awards and everything like that. I'm just like,
yeah.
what was the plan here?
That's kind of weird. If Blade Show or anybody from Blade Show happens to watch this, then I'm gonna make the suggestion that they need to come to Kansas City. One, because it's close to me, and I merit that. But secondly, Kansas City is so centrally located in the middle of the country, and
Blade
it would
Show
be
Central.
yeah, yeah, Central Blade Show. It's like right smack dab in the middle of the country, Kansas City. So like I I would say
What's up,
Kansas City
Jonathan?
would be an awesome place to do Blade Show, and I know there's some pretty big convention center type
Yeah.
in Kansas
Speaking
City.
of Kansas City, I found a new brand that I liked that is from Kansas City. That was Night Watch knives.
Yeah, I didn't happen to stop by their booth. I know I like glanced at it as I walked by, and then for some reason I felt like I was distracted with something else and never like
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
looked. So
Well, one problem that I have is that the Night Watch knives booth and the knives themselves were kind of shiny and really nice looking.
mhm.
And I tend to see that and automatically think out of my price range or
Yeah,
not designed for my genre of use. Um, but they looked fantastic. What's up, Christopher? Let's see. He likes the camo job on your Mossberg Scout 308.
yeah. That Mossberg Scout 308. All I did with that was I had some digital stencils, and I just
Uh-huh.
hit it. I think I hit it with like a dark green, just base color, and then like did some light green and brown on top of it with just digital.
Nice.
And
It looks good.
yeah, I'm actually very impressed with it. I've tried a few different stencils. I think I even got like a multicam stencil, but I've never got it to like work as good as the digital is a lot easier to mess with. So I just keep using the digital.
Do you get
So
those from Freedom Stencils?
I feel like I got one or from Primary Arms, and I feel like I got one from Amazon. Like just some cheap one from Amazon.
It could still be the one from Primary Arms could still be Freedom Stencils, and I know that owner, and he's also a Tactical Response alumni. Oh, I've got some brand new, like hot off the press news. Today is I'm an ambassador for tactical response now.
Oh,
So I'm going
cool.
to be able to offer some discounts and stuff. So that's pretty exciting.
I really need to get out there and try that. It's quite a jaunt
It's a
for
huge
me to.
investment.
Yeah,
Oh God, in
yeah,
time and money.
yeah. What last time I checked, don't you have to bring like 1,000 rounds of ammo with you or something like that to?
So it depends on the class. The
Okay,
best value, and so the best value is to do the trifecta.
okay.
So I think you need to bring 1,000 rounds of ammo, 9 mm. It's like a week of training. But you bring
Hmm.
like 1,000 rounds of ammo, and it's fighting pistol. Then it's the fight. So it's 2 days of class where you get a Glock with semi-munitions and you do actual force-on-force training and scenarios. And then it's immediate action medical. And immediate action medical very much is TCCC that you would have gotten in the military, just better. Like
Yeah.
if the people in the military actually, cared about their jobs instead of just getting home and getting drunk that night, uh, they would teach it like this. And they have the way that they, um, for instance, when you're doing a needle decompression for tension pneumothorax or whatever, in your intercostal space there. I don't remember ever being taught that there was a pop, but the way that they do it with ribs and a balloon, you actually push in and get the actual pop that you would get in the release of air as if it were real. I I never got anything awesome like that in the military.
I'll be honest. I can't even hardly remember them teaching me any medical when I was in the Marines, and I feel like I kind of got my own little local circles here. And one of the guys that's good friends, he actually married me and my wife together and stuff too. He's a pastor and he's a EMT and a SWAT medic, and he actually has taught some classes, and I've probably learned more from him for
Nice.
medical stuff than I've ever have, and even the military, And so,
Wow. That's the thing, man. People talk about military training, and it's literally the guy teaching you the class probably doesn't want to be there. Most of the time, you probably don't want to be there. Everybody's got blocks to check so that they don't get in trouble, but they just want to, it's a socialist system.
mhm,
Rafi asked one of his hardest decisions to make is whether to go for an SE3 or an SE4, with the three being too short and the other too thick, wishing there was one in the middle. There are some other options, Rafi, although I don't know what's available to you in Egypt, but you might, if you can find it, look at the SEJG3 if SE is a brand that you have available. What do you think, Gabe?
well, I will say I have both the SE3 and 4, and I like the SE4, but I generally gravitate towards the SE3. I feel like for that size of knife, you might as well have something a lot thinner and slicier. And I don't need a pry bar for a 3-4 inch knife. And so I
Yeah.
generally kind of lean on the SE3. But if you want something kind of in between, at Blade Show, and I'm kind of skipping ahead here, I got something that is just slightly bigger than the SE3, slightly thicker than the SE3, and but not as big and as thick as the SE4, and that's the Lion Steel M2M. I've been very impressed with this little guy here. I even got your little handy bead on there, which looks.
Nice.
I thought I'd make it my dedicated blade show kind of compliment,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it comes with a leather sheath, which I like Lion Steel's leather sheaths. However, I Armitage carry makes kydex for these, and you don't have to send your knife in, which is really cool. And so you could consider that. And I have a coupon code for Armitage carry, last Huntsman, all capital letters. And so if you
Yeah,
want to go
definitely check that out. Jonathan also mentioned the SEPR4. I'm an absolute fan of the PR4 myself. It's, I think, a very different knife than the 3 or the 4, with how narrow the scales are. But I love that about it. And I was actually going to say, if someone was interested in a thinner 4 or a longer 3, the primitive Primitive Bear Knives Huntsman's EDC would probably be a good option.
That is, I'm going to go out on a limb here. If I could only pick one fixed blade for EDC, it would be the Primitive Bear Knives Hunter's EDC. I kind of wish I even had mine on the table here, but I don't have it with me.
It's a good setup. It's a good size. I can drop it in my pocket with an ulti clip. I enjoy doing so. It rocks and roll.
Yeah, Rafi, if you want to get something awesome, if you can get it shipped to Egypt, I would definitely look into the Primitive Bear Hunter's EDC for sure.
So the adventure craft with Cow Carta will happen if possible. So with this Cow Carta, if I can have it machined, if everything works, as desired, it will be on an adventure craft. And right now, the goal will be to slap them onto knives, the Cow Carta onto knives in A2, with a custom cobalt gun blued finish by Turnbull Restorations. And that would be really wild. So that's kind of the way my brain's working right now. It's going to be an expensive option, but I mean,
it'll be a grail type of option too.
Yeah, for sure.
So what booths at a Blade Show that caught your attention while you were there? If there was 3 that really got your attention while you were there.
So I didn't get to do as many as I had hoped. But what's up, Peterbilt?
Shout out to Peterbilt. Thanks for sending this to me, by the way. It's the Architect 6.5. I'm very excited to get to try this one out.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I should explain the hat a little bit. This is coming up for a very sassy video that's going to be coming pretty soon, so I decided to give it a trial run tonight. So I liked the Night Watch knives, and I always stop with Lin Ray, the guy who makes the custom forged integrals. And Cypress Creek knives, I think.
They were a really cool booth. I stopped by Cypress Creek. I filmed a short there, and then I stopped by the Lion Steel booth, and he actually gave me the M2M, which I'm always appreciative. And speaking of gifts, Zeke Manacho gave me the Uniheart from Work Tough Gear, so that was pretty cool.
That's a nice handle on that thing, by the way.
Yeah, I will say Vic Lynn's design for a handle, I think, is one of the most ergonomic handles. I actually sold my LT Wright Forest Trail because I always thought it was the best handle, and I actually think this handle's better than even the Forest Trail, which is a lot to be said there. But another booth that I was really impressed with was the Helm Forge Industries, I think it is. And for a long time I've been looking for a full tang tomahawk that I actually think is decent. And his full tang tomahawk, I think it's the Helm Woodsman. It's a 15-inch full tang 80 CRV tomahawk with a hammer on the back of it. And that one was really cool, and I was kind of debating getting it, and I ended up not getting it. And then he emailed me and was like, "Hey, I'll hook you up," type of thing. So I was like, "Oh, cool." So I will say the Helm Forge was really cool. Did you stop by the Helm Forge, or?
I saw his booth, and I always like his work. I'm pretty familiar with his work, and I like that he does big stuff.
Yeah, he does a lot of I think some of his more production looking blades were 80 CRV2, and then he had some more custom hand forged type of stuff. I think if I remember right, and I could be wrong on this, I think he said he was using 8670 for those. So
I hope so, man, because 8670 is like my favorite steel ever.
yeah,
Not
man.
not that 80 CRV2 is any kind of slouch, by the way. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just really like 8670.
I know every knife maker I've talked to that if they use 8670, they end up saying 8670 is like their favorite steel to use for making stuff. So
This light is harsh. I guess I'm gonna put this back on. Um, I think 8670 is probably the easiest steel I've ever sharpened. You know, I look at it and it's a lightsaber again. I haven't noticed it being exceptionally the edge holding being exceptionally poor. I think it's on par with a lot of my high carbon steel knives. Of course, I'm saying that in practical use and mostly comparing it to 1095. And I think in the woods or whatever, I think you'd be hard pressed to actually tell a difference between them. But I do think 8670 is actually easier to sharpen by a good bit. And the toughness is where it's at.
yeah,
So
I find myself probably gravitating a lot towards 8670, 80 CRV2, and 52-100. And I will say I don't have all the specific specs and numbers and stuff, but at least from my own experience, I find that 52-100 is probably the hardest to sharpen out of those three, at least from my own experience. And then um, I don't even think I've ever had to fully sharpen 8670 because I think the only 8670 I've ever had was a essential
right.
PUK essential, and all I've ever had to do is just leather strop that, and it's just still like stupid hair shaving sharp. So
And that's most of what I do as well.
yeah,
Um, I thought about something. I will say, since being sick, I have a little harder time uh, focusing, probably. Christopher said everyone should have at least basic first aid training, if not intermediate training. Um, and I couldn't agree more. But I think everybody needs to be able to use a tourniquet and patch a hole. So, what do you use to sharpen, Gabe? You're whipping it
I
out there?
mostly use this bad boy right here and this leather strap right here is kind
Is
of
that the
what I.
system that did you get that system from me
No, I
in an auction or something?
no, I bought this one myself.
Oh, okay.
I think I bought it from Midway USA or something.
Oh no, I've
Yes,
still got mine here. One was donated to me
and sometimes
with
I use
all of
one
the
of
money
these.
going to knife rights, and the guy who bought it backed out, but I thought that I had sold it afterwards, and I guess I didn't. That was kind of a dirtbag move on that guy's part, but yeah, I didn't sell it. It's still there. Time for me to have another auction. It's a cool unit though.
Yeah, and I mostly use this guy, this one leather strop, and sometimes if it's like a real big knife or even axe, I'll use even an axe puck on even a big knife. So uh, I actually think I used when I reprofiled the V44 because you got the V44X too, and I felt like it needed just a little bit of reprofiling on the edge. So when I reprofiled it, I used my axe puck, and it was actually pretty easy to use that. So
I've got a diamond rod that I bring with me to the field,
mhm.
and I'll use that. And I've done quite a few repairs with that. And but I really like the guided systems. But
Yeah, I feel like especially like this guy here takes a lot of the guesswork out. I'd like to get one of those like full table mounted things where you mount your knife in it and just pull the, but it's kind of one of those things I haven't spent the money on. It's like, hey, do I want that or do I want another knife type of thing? So
or a gun
yeah, or a
for the
gun.
price of them,
Yeah, I
or tires for your car, groceries for 2 months.
or feed for all the animals that I keep accumulating on the farm
Yeah.
here.
Well, those sharpening systems, a lot of them are $500 to $800. The
Yeah,
big
which is just
clamp-on ones, and it's just it's. I should get one. I mean, if anybody on the planet needs one, it's probably me. Um, just for the amount of use that I do and for the things that it could allow me to do. But I have the small work sharp angle adjust. Uh, yeah, groceries for 2 months is a car. That's right. The work sharp angle adjust pro, and I love that thing. But I want the bigger one that's a little more expensive that allows for larger knives and for smaller knives actually.
doesn't WorkSharp make a new like table system too, or
Yes, yeah, it's the new one, and it allows you to do bigger knives and smaller knives. I think overall it's a better design, but I think it's about $300, which is a lot more doable. I don't even know. At first, they were sold out for so long you couldn't even get one if you wanted one.
sorry, I got my
Yeah, hydrating.
water buffalo canteen size canteen here.
So Jonathan said his favorite way to sharpen carbon steel is wet dry automotive sandpaper followed with leather strop. And if you know a little bit about what you're doing, that can actually be an amazing way to get an absolutely crazy edge. Very reminiscent of the type of edge that you would get from using a 2x72 grinder.
Yeah, I've
And that's
actually used that method myself before too, and I'll actually put the sandpaper on my leather strop, like wrap it around the leather strop, and it has just a
yep,
slight bit of give when you're doing it, and so
yep,
it creates like a
slightly
convex
convex.
edge. And
Hmm.
I did that with my BK7, and I did that with my Lion Steel T6 here. And this Lion Steel T6, when I did it like that, it just came out stupid sharp. I was very impressed with the way this T6 came out, like doing that. So
Hey, I hate to do it here. It's due to my own piss poor prior planning, but my phone is about to die.
okay,
So I might need to just, I don't know if I can drop off on your chat here and you can continue the live or what. Um,
I think you can. Yeah, I think you can.
Sorry about that, man.
No, it's
Uh,
cool.
I'm trying to think before I go.
Maybe he before you go, what was one thing you were thing most disappointing about Blade Show Texas?
Well, I was mostly disappointed in myself with Blade Show Texas. All I had in stock was high vis knives. And no matter what you do, there's a lot of people out there who will never ever buy a red knife.
Yeah,
So that was kind of a downer for me. So I'm making sure that I rectify that as quickly as I can. Um, I don't know. There's some things that I shouldn't talk about, or maybe I'm not ready to talk about yet. But I do feel
future
like
live stream video.
uh,
Future live stream video.
I don't even know if I'll do that. I don't know. But I will say that, I think that as our media moves further away from magazines
Hmm.
as being a viable way for them to make money, Blade Magazine, which puts on Blade Show, I feel like is trying to maybe squeeze more and more money out of Blade Show. And um, there were certain things that just didn't feel very maker friendly to me.
Yeah, I feel like there was kind of some, I don't know, hodgepodge to put together, I don't know, stuff. And then I think one thing that I kind of found annoying too was there was a lot of like really neat maker booths and tables, but I also found that there was like a lot of booths and tables with like guys trying to sell like Pakistani garage sale looking knives, and they'd have like knives and then like beads and hippie stuff, and oh, and here get your Confederate flag with your gas station knife. It's like, what the hell is this? I felt like there was.
That's kind of part of it. Is Blade Show was meant to be kind of for a certain group of businesses and for a certain type of clientele. And I feel like as years go on, we have less and less Blade content, more and more gun stuff, more and more vaguely related stuff. And then simultaneously, they're telling makers, oh, we don't have space. Get on the list. Maybe you'll get on next year. You can't get the spot that you want. Then at the same time, you go to Blade Show, especially Atlanta, and it's a sea of empty tables too. So I don't know. I get feelings that just aren't too friendly or healthy.
Yeah.
To include all the different passes that are available and a lot of the rules, and it's like, what's going on here, guys? This is supposed to be like a cool thing for us all to get together. We're paying you a freaking ton of money. If you're not making a ton of money, I don't know what the heck to tell you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they had to. They had to just walk out of that with a lot of bang. Quite frankly, I mean, what, $25 per day per ticket, basically, and how many thousands and thousands of people were there?
Plus the amount that the makers pay,
Yeah, which
which is pretty.
Yeah. Well, did you at least make what you put into it, type of thing, or not really?
Probably.
Probably. Okay.
Probably. Yeah. It was a
Okay.
pretty high cost show for me, especially since I got hotels and stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. The sales side of things was my fault. I came to a show with only red and white knives. You
So
did pick that up.
I did pick this thing up. I had to rent a extra trailer to haul it back. I don't know if my Subaru Forester was like able to do it, so I had to rent a diesel truck
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But if you guys haven't seen this knife, this is Jacob's design, the Workhorse. It's almost a half-inch thick. Just I don't even know really how to describe this thing. I think I almost want to describe it as like epic monstrosity Bo Nasty blade,
Yeah.
kind of like something like a orc of Mordor would carry or something. But
Don't let that thing get you like the Puzon Bowie did.
Yeah, I don't need any more of those.
Because you might get a cut and a broken bone with it.
Yeah,
You might not cut. You might only break with that thing.
I got 2 bad knife injuries, and I'm gonna try to like not do any bad knife injuries. So
Anymore. At all, ever.
anymore, I
I
can't.
feel that.
I can't promise that, but the Puzon was probably the worst, and then the Spartan Harsey Fighter was probably the second worst because I like cut about halfway into my finger, and at that point I was like, I don't need another hospital bill, so I just wrapped it up and dealt with it. Now I still can't feel the end of my finger, but
Jeez.
yeah, fun
Well, I
times.
gotta get out of here, guys. Peterbilt, I appreciate it, man. I need to reach out to you. But Gabe, I'm sorry to be dipping out of here early. I am also probably gonna go directly to bed, but
No,
I'm not.
you need to get better anyway. So, thanks for hopping on with me, and I think I'm gonna go ahead.
Yes.
I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off as well. I think we kind of did
Okay.
a quick little cool debrief on Blade Show. And when are you going to see a video with the Workhorse game? It's going to be probably at least 2 or 3 weeks out, just because Jacob could probably say the exact same thing. I got a lot of knives just thrown at me, and it's like, wow, I'm behind. Like, I don't even want any more knives right now, just because I'm so far behind on trying to like catch up on reviews and stuff. And
Yeah.
I got knives that I've had for almost a year that I still haven't had a chance to like actually use much. But so it's going to be a little bit out. I know one I need to try to do because I'm borrowing it from Heavyset
That'd be sad.
Tactical. Is I got his Bussy Team Gemini, which that's going to be a fun one to try to review. And then I got, of course, Jacob's stuff, and I got a handful of work tough gears and some lion steel and all that good stuff to try to review. So yeah, that'll be a few weeks out at least. And Jacob, thanks for coming on here. Thanks for helping me co-host this debrief. And you all have a good night. Be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless and carry on.
Rock and roll.